Federal cabinet ministers will address the Assembly of First Nations gathering in Ottawa today. CTV's Jeremie Charron joins us live from Ottawa. Good to see you, Jeremie. What are the most pressing issues being addressed by the AFN Special Chiefs Assembly today?
Yeah, good morning, Arda. Look, the Special Chiefs Assembly is going to be, have the opportunity today to speak to a number of cabinet ministers, Carney cabinet ministers, that are part of a ministerial panel today. There's a slew of them. It's expected that once again we'll hear concerns about Indigenous consultation or lack thereof during these conversations. The Prime Minister addressed the AFN on Tuesday and faced significant pushback, specifically when it comes to the MOU that has been signed with the province of Alberta, of course, and the potential of a pipeline. The AFN chiefs have been clear that they oppose the signing of the MOU. In fact, they signed an emergency resolution on the first day of this Special Chiefs Assembly to reject the Alberta MOU and reject specifically any proposed exemptions to the tanker ban. This Prime Minister has been clear that major projects are going to be a focus for he and his government moving forward, but have set out since the outset that they will do so with Indigenous consultation, Indigenous partnership right from the get-go. And chiefs from First Nations have been clear through this Assembly meeting that they feel as though that has not been the case so far, that they have not been consulted, specifically when it comes to this MOU, that they play no role in these talks. And that they're not happy with the way things have gone so far. And so they have been clear. They want to be consulted. They want to ensure that they are going to be partners in any of these projects. And as it stands, they completely oppose this MOU. Now, the Prime Minister has made it clear that he'll be meeting with coastal First Nations chiefs in the near future and is setting up a First Nations or a meeting with First Ministers as well as First Nations leaders early in the new year. So he and his government are trying to, work with First Nations leaders and try and answer some of the concerns that have been raised so far. And I expect that that will be much of the focus again as ministers addressed chiefs today in the last day of this Special Chiefs Assembly.
Yes, and today is the final day of their national Ottawa meeting in Ottawa. What can we expect?
Yeah, well, there's a number of cabinet ministers that'll be there, including Rebecca Alty, the Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations, and Mandy Golmasti, the Minister of Indigenous Services Canada, along with a slew of other ministers. François-Philippe Champagne, the Minister of Finance, Gary Ananda Sangri, the Public Safety Minister, the Minister of Emergency Management, Olszewski. So there are going to be a number of cabinet ministers that are going to be there and will be ready to continue to take some of the questions and some of the criticism and pushback that First Nations leaders are raising when it comes to moving forward with these projects. What we've heard from various First Nations leaders is they're not totally opposed to some of these major projects and these energy projects, many of which can be actually, financially beneficial for their communities or can have a range of benefits for the communities. But they need to be included in the planning process. They need to be consulted, and they feel as though so far that hasn't been the case. And so this government is going to have work to do when it comes to mending those relationships with a lot of these First Nations leaders who feel as though the Prime Minister and his team so far have not followed through on the promises that they've made to ensure that First Nations communities are included in these projects and consulted right from the get-go.
Jeremie, thank you so much for this. CTV's Jeremie Charron.